Well, hello friends, it's Kathryn, and this is for those of you who are feeling a little bit spicy and saucy today. I woke up feeling kind of funky and weird, and you know that it's collective stuff ramping up when you kind of check your triggers and you're like, is this me? Do I have stuff that I'm not dealing with, that I'm not clearing? Are there things going on in my energy that I'm not facing, honestly? And if you do an honest assessment and you come up with nothing, then it's a lot of times collective stuff. And it makes perfect sense because the collective angst is ramping up again. When you understand the energetic structures known as pendulums, you can start feeling it swinging between the extremes again. The messaging around the vid and mandates and stuff like that, it's all ramping up again, and you can feel it. And when this happens, you have these energetic structures that swing between the extremes. One side claiming it's right and one side claiming it's right, and never the twain shall meet, and it just drives more energy to the other side of the argument or the extreme duality when one side resists that other side even more. It's affecting more of how you create your reality than you think. We talk about this in Leading Edge Creator. We're going to be talking about this soon, and how it actually creates a lot of resistance, a lot of disturbance in how you are creating your reality. And one thing that you can understand about it, about these energies ramping up, is that there's just so much like spiciness, sauciness. It just feels like, it's just ick. It just feels like a lot of heavy, heavy energy on you. I'm going to share this in a couple places. I'm going to share this in Leading Edge Creator. I'm going to share it in Women Walking the Phoenix Path. So those are the two groups I'm actually and actively teaching. So there we go. When I woke up this morning and I had that, I was like, okay, what can I do that would be of great value to my community today? And I just kept having this question in my head over and over again. How can I add value, create value for my community today? What can I do? And I don't force it. I just kind of let it ruminate around in my consciousness. And after I did my walk, where I felt really spicy, because I almost got run over by a group of kids on bikes, and I held my tongue, but I did some havening technique, which is bilateral stimulation that helps you to regulate your nervous system. I went out in the woods and I stamped my feet on the ground. I cleared a lot of the collective angst, and then I felt better. And then I realized, well, what if I come home and do some sound healing? And I said, there's my answer. I'm going to come home and I'm going to do some sound healing, but I'm going to do it for everybody who's around and everybody who wants to watch. So this is going to be a binaural sound healing to help you clear some of this collective angst. And you might feel right away that it's bringing some stuff up. That's the purpose of the binaural, meaning we're working with two frequencies at once. So working with the binaural sound healing, we're working with 174 hertz. This is my scouring fork. So this is what it kind of digs in there and gets the stuff up to the surface so that it can be consciously recognized, and you can consciously allow this stuff to pass through and move through, because you're not meant to hold on to this stuff. You are part of a collective, but you're not meant to hold on to collective energy. It's meant to move through you, me, and everybody else. We're not meant to hold on to anything. What happens in the moment belongs to the moment. It doesn't belong to you. Even as a custodian, a steward of the collective, it doesn't belong to you, okay? And especially if you're making that honest assessment, like, is this triggering stuff that I need to work on? Okay, that's great. The collective angst might be a launching pad for you realizing some of that stuff. But if you do an honest inventory and you're like, no, it's not me. It's not me. And everything's going great in my world right now, so it's not me. But I'm feeling the spiciness, I'm feeling the angst. I feel that pendulum swing ramping up again between the extremes, which pits us together. And you know, what better way to not progress in a world that needs to progress than to pit us all against each other with a global issue like the vid. So as all this shit is ramping back up again, this is an invitation for you to hold your strength, hold your power, hold the line. Don't get sucked in to the drama, to the extremes of this is right and you're wrong. I'm right, you're wrong. This is good, this is bad. It does nothing for you. It does nothing to drive the progression of this world forward. It does nothing to get involved in these arguments. Hi, Christine. Hi, Melissa. Of one side versus another. It's pointless. In the greater scheme of things, from the bigger picture, from the God self perspective, whatever you want to call it, it does nothing to drive your progression forward or the progression of this planet to get involved in these arguments. Stay in your power. Stay in your light. All the answers that you need are there when you do that. Anything else, you're moving into a survival state. You're moving into extremes of duality. It does not serve you. It doesn't serve the collective either. So the 174 hertz is probably going to bring some of this shit up. And it might be bringing up some of your stuff, or it might be things that are coming up that you're noticing in the collective. The 528 hertz is, yes, it's the miracle tone, but it's so much more than that. It is bringing up DNA encodements that align with purpose, passion, power. I think we all need this reminder, so I'm glad you're here, Melissa, because I know you feel into this stuff too. So I really felt called to do this. It's not going to take very long. These work really quickly, and when we do the binaural stuff, not only are you getting the benefits from each tone individually, but when the tones mix and meld, it's kind of like, you may even see it in your mind like a DNA helix, a spiraling structure. So that the second something comes up to clear, you have a soothing balm type energy that's more of a tonic to your system. It tones the nervous system, it tones the vagus nerve, which is the largest cranial nerve in the body. So all you have to do is get yourself some water. If you don't have some, take a minute, grab some water. And also, I always say this, when you are doing sound healings with me, when you have your water gets a charging and a blessing as well, because sound moves through the medium of water very quickly. And it will take on all the resonances of those vibrations that come from the tuning fork. And so you'll notice that if you take a sip of water now, and you notice the taste, you get a baseline for that. After we do some of the sound healing, you'll notice that the water will taste silkier. It goes a little more alkaline. It just does. I have the litmus paper. I've done the tests. And if you don't believe me, you can test it yourself too. So have some water, get yourself hydrated, because the more hydrated you are, most of us on this planet are dehydrated. We used to be 70 to 80% water in our bodies. Now we're 60 to 70%. We are more and more dehydrated. We eat more and more processed foods. The nutrients that used to have more salinity, wow, in the soil are being depleted. And it's the salt that allows the magnesium ions in the salt that allows hydration, water coming into the body to latch onto the cells. And so if we don't have this magnesium ion, and you can do this very easily by supplementing with Celtic sea salt. And what it does is it binds, the water molecule binds, and you'll stay hydrated in your body. So that's a nice little trick for those of you who are chronically dehydrated. Get yourself some Celtic sea salt and just take a little kernel of it, a little nugget, and just suck on it a little bit, and then drink your regular amount of water throughout the day. You will be more dehydrated. Your skin will be plumper. Your cells will function better. Your body becomes less stiff, okay? So look at all the value I'm adding today. I was staying true to my pledge. And then all you have to do is just be present. Just be present. Just be here now. This is not going to take very long. And just tune in. And I will guide you through this, okay? So here we go. Whoops, let's do that again. Just notice what you're feeling. Just notice the energies that are starting to come up. Remember, at the beginning, the 174 is going to go to hertz like a scouring energy. It's going to bring things up for you to see, to consciously have recognition of. That is normal. Okay? Totally normal. Sit up straight. So you're sitting erect in your chair, your spine is straight, so energy can move up and down and along the spine. Hi, Kimberly. So what the forks are doing, they're reflecting back to you. Anything that needs to come up into your conscious awareness. Oh, nice. Just tune in. Believe me, this information that wants to come up and be cleared within you, it's not playing hard to get. Hi, Nicole. It is not playing hard to get. This information that you're picking up in the collective, this information that you're picking up that might be resonating in your own energy, things that you might need to clear on an individual level, this energy, this information, this wisdom, these promptings, these nudgings, they do not play hard to get. They want to be brought back into the loving presence of your light. They can't do that unless you recognize them. So these energies will make it easy for you to see what you need to see. And it's going to be stuff that you need to see now. Stuff that's affecting your life now. Not stuff that's going to affect your life next week. Your intuition doesn't work that way. That's called being an oracle. Okay? Not all of us are oracles. Some of us are. But let your intuition show you what matters most for you right now, and then be willing to see it. Embrace it. Don't be afraid of it. It's you. It's you. Why would you be afraid of you? It's a part of you that's asking to come back home. It's asking for a place in your life in a more integrated and powerful, processed, beautiful, wholesome way. She's 78 and woke. I love it. Some of us are still working on that, right? So this is already making me feel more spicy. It's bringing a lot of stuff up. I'm getting red in the face. I'm burping. Energy's moving. Energy's moving. Let it move. Where does it want to go? What part of your body is lighting up? What part of your body is saying, hey, me over here. I have stored grief. I'm your lungs. I have stored heartache. I'm your breastplate. I have things left unsaid. I'm your throat. I have such anxiety. I feel so much turmoil. Hey, I'm your stomach. I'm your digestive tract. I've got ancestral shit trying to move out. Hey, I'm your lower back. I have all the things that feel left undone. I'm your spine. I'm afraid to move forward. I'm your knees. I'm your ankles. I'm your toe that won't heal on your left foot. I don't feel supported. I'm your legs, right? So let that stuff move through, any stuff that you need to consciously recognize for your own growth. Let it come up, let it move through, let it pass through you. It couldn't do it the first time, let it happen now. And just let it go now, because it doesn't get easier later on. Let it go now. Let it go. What does it want to tell you? What does it want to show you? What patterns and conditioning does it bring up? What kind of programs are you still running that you know don't serve you, but you just can't seem to let them go for one reason or another? Maybe they've served you in some, who knows, some perverted way before. But they don't serve you now. And just breathe. Just breathe. Put your feet flat on the ground. Be grounded. Be centered. Be here. And you notice that your body wants to kind of push the density and push the physical feeling of burden down through the body. Let it move. Let it move out through the lower extremities. Let it move through the legs and out the feet. Just kind of lovingly guide it. Say, thank you. Thank you for showing me I don't need you anymore. Thank you for showing me where I'm in pain. I don't need you anymore. I got it from here. And so let's move the energy out in the field where we tune into the collective. So about 6 feet out, 6 to 7 feet outside of the physical body. Start moving out into the field and feeling our connection with the ionosphere. That's where we feel the atmospheric connection of the earth intermingling with the atmospheric connection of the moon. And into the magnetosphere, where the atmospheric connection of the earth is intermingling with the atmospheric connection of the sun. Both hold collective memory. Both connect us in with what's moving in or moving out with that collective memory. There's a lot of disclosure happening on the planet. You could think of this as moving in. There's a lot of collective realization about how we create our own reality, and anything that's in the way of that we've held as blocks, that's moving out. And so it's confusing for us as a collective because there's things moving in, things moving out. There's a lot of existential dread that is moving in as the messaging around the vid is coming up again. Back of neck, causal, karmic. Messages from your ancestry, from karma, that's ready to be released, ready to go. That's for the back of neck. And causal stuff where we say we're disenfranchised because I come from this family that I only have this history in my family that does this. The reason I can't have this in my life because my family has always been that. That's a lot of causal stuff. It's not just ancestral karma. It's taking on, out of a perverse sense of loyalty, the limitations of our family that came before. And it's our own really kind of effed up way of honoring them or having loyalty to family by taking on the same limitations and blocks and resistance that they did, but you don't need to do that. Believe me, your ancestry wants you to move forward. Your ancestry wants you to progress. They want you to take the genealogy and the DNA codes of your family into the higher realms. They want you to take it into an elevated consciousness. You can't do that if you're holding on to the same programs that, even out of a misdirected sense of loyalty, are limiting you from your abundance. It can include the thyroid. It can include the thyroid. Mostly it has to do with the spinal connection, the back of head and neck, where the head sits on the neck, has more to do with that. Has more to do with pituitary than the thyroid, but it can. And I'm not looking into anyone's energy deeply here, so I'm not at liberty to say. Energy moving around on right ankle from old ankle energy 3 years ago. Yeah, because there's still things that are affecting your field. The thoughts that came in during that time of the original injury, they don't completely go away. That's why we hold morphogenetic fields, T fields, around injured parts of the body, because whatever thoughts came in and whatever feelings that were disenfranchising for us at that time, they remain as phantoms, echoes, ghosts of the past. It doesn't mean that they resonate in truth. It just means that we have not consciously recognized and allowed them to move through. So if you can remember what kind of feelings you were thinking at the time of the injury, what were you thinking in your life? What were you thinking about yourself, about where you were in your life at that time? What can you release as part of that now? Can you make peace with that? Can you be done? It's your choice and your choice alone. There's nothing outside of you keeping it from release. And if you're listening with earbuds, this is even better. But let's clear some of the, I keep hearing existential dread. So anywhere it feels like there's mental energy around mortality, around death rates, around hospital beds and people languishing in them, people marinating and suffering on the planet. I mean, we have these cataclysms that are taking place. We have floods, we have fires, we have earthquakes. That is all ramping up, and it's not because this stuff is happening that we have existential dread. It is because we have existential dread that this is happening. We still want to make that corollary that it's always outside in. It's not. The world that we expect to see will line up exactly with the thoughts and beliefs we have about the world. So where can you tone down maybe your own sense of existential dread? This goes for me too. I have it. I can be objective about it. But if I'm doing an honest assessment, like I asked you to do at the beginning here, I have a little bit of that. And it's only kind of collective conditioning. It's being a recovering Catholic. It's stuff that I'm picking up. It's not mine, but it's there. And I don't want it poisoning the pool of my light. So I'm willing to look at, what is that? What is that? What is that existential dread for you? What is the angst that you feel resonating in your field, so that when you look out in the world, you're like, there it is, there's that dread, there's that angst. And we want to turn it around and think that we see it out there, so then we're going to take it in inside. No, it exists in our inner reality first. If you can wrap your mind around this conceptually, there is no experience that exists outside of yourself. Meaning, everything that you would encounter in the outside world has resonance, has tone, has a vibration within you first. Otherwise, you would have no awareness of it. You would have no sense of it. It simply wouldn't exist for you. It wouldn't be on your radar. So let the world's events pinpoint back to you, reverse engineer the feeling of, I have this feeling within me, so I expect to see this angst out there. I expect to see dread. I expect to see people behaving badly. I expect to see shit going south. How much are you expecting that in your own reality, in your own life, in your own day-to-day interaction and relationship with yourself? So let's do a little deeper scouring here, because I sense like a big kind of upshot in that energy. And this is 144 hertz. I do recommend earbuds. Just let it come up. If you're willing to see it, if you're willing to interface with it, it will show itself to you. I always say this, you know, give your pain, your trauma a mic, and it will do all the talking for you. So it's the same if you give it a forum. You give it an opportunity to air its grievances with you, and it will. It's not plain hard to get. This is... Okay, there we go. If it feels like too much, it's okay to come back to this later. Okay? It's okay. We're just going to do a little more scouring with this one. This is 144 hertz. I don't know if I said that. This is my workhorse. Let your body feel it. Let it move through. I feel some of you trying to push it back down like, oh no, too big, too big. It's okay. If you want to do something called a havening technique, if you're feeling this stuff and you want to regulate your nervous system, you don't want to burn out, you simply cross your hands over your heart and just self-soothe. Both hands rubbing up and down your arms. This is called bilateral stimulation, the havening technique. And when it does, it soothes your nervous system. It calms you the fuck down. And then you could take a breath. You're like, it's okay. I'm safe. I'm safe. I'm here. I'm okay. Right? And then you can go back in. But also, if it's too much, bag it and come back later. And we're going to bring the harmonics up. So we'll brighten your tone, increase your voltage, because we're working with magnetoelectric energy here. Magnetoelectric energy is about understanding that every electrical field and everything in your body, everything in this world that you experience as the outer reality has an electric field. And outside of every electric field, there's a magnetic field. So when I was being shown how to work with this, especially for Leading Edge Creator, they wanted me to call it the magnetoelectric field, and so I do. I usually do what they tell me. Because we're leading with magnetic energy. So when you hear electromagnetism and electromagnetic, it kind of connotes that the magnetic is secondary and the electric is first. It's the other way around. We're leading with magnetism because we're leading with our feelings. This whole experience of reality is about the emotional underpinning of it all. How we create what we want. And hint, hint, you're not creating or manifesting anything. You're magnetizing it. You're magnetizing it through the emotional underpinning. You're magnetizing it to you by what you're feeling moment to moment. And you're magnetizing to you from the highest energy of the field, whether you want to call it source, the one, higher intelligence. It's this beautiful call and answer. And we lead through, and the universe leads through magnetic energy first and electric energy second. But everything's magnetoelectric, everything. Your cells, your bones. Your bones are piezoelectric, actually. They have a charge, they have light. Your bones have light. Your cells are electromagnetic. Your digestive system is magnetoelectric. The heart, circulatory system, electric. So when we work with sound healing, we are increasing your voltage of the electrical systems, the magnetic systems and fields around the electrical systems in the body. So let's bring this up a little bit. Brightening your tone. Brightening your tone. I'm burping a lot. We did a lot of releasing. So here you get to know what it feels like to have a higher voltage. You're going to feel more in your power. You're going to feel lighter because you're filled with more light. You're going to feel a little more optimism. We brought more light into the brain, into the T fields. That heaviness that was on your chest, on the back of the neck, the shoulders, feels a little bit lighter. Ooh, I love that. I feel like specks of little kisses from the sun are floating through my field. That's nice. So when the pendulum swings between all the pent-up collective energy that was kind of a little bit dormant during the summer, and now they're ramping up the messaging around, they're going to do it with politics. We have an election coming here in the US. You're going to do it with the vid. All the shit's going to come to the fore again for all of us to argue over and have ire and be distracted by, okay? Not to say this isn't affecting us and isn't affecting people's health, but you have to understand how swinging between these extremes of this group is right and this group is wrong. Yeah, I'm rooting for this side, and I'm rooting for this side so big that I'm pushing back against that side. What you're actually doing is giving whatever other side you're arguing against more power, more force. That's how pendulums work. You don't have to participate in that. Stay in your own lane. Stay in the brightness and voltage of your own light. Know who the fuck you are and make your own decisions based on sovereignty, not based on solidarity to even a group. It has to be right for you. The decisions have to be right for you. And when you are true to yourself, you can be true to the collective. You can contribute something powerful to the collective. Because when you show up for yourself unflinchingly in your truth, and I don't mean speaking your truth as, trash talking everybody else. Some people mistake the fact that speaking your truth or staying in your power means that you just get to talk a lot of shit about other things or other people. That's not speaking your truth. You might want to code it that way for yourself to make you feel better, but speaking your truth is, I got to do this for me. This is right for me. Stay in your light. Stay in your body. Keep your energy close to you. Guard it. Protect it like it is the most precious resource that you have, because it is. Yes, always. Always, Kimberly. And a last bit of brightening. Use your own. You are a walking, talking tuning fork. So use the vibration of your own being. Let it rise deep from the belly, deep from a deep diaphragmatic breath. And just let it come out. Let it come out in the throat. I just scared my dog. Sorry, fam. It's okay, buddy. Let it come out. Free yourself. Free yourself. Let the energy move through with a final Who cares who can hear you? Who cares? This is for you. It's not for anybody else. Have some fun with the fact that you are a vibration. You are an echo, an expression of consciousness experiencing itself. Be willing to put a voice to it. Be willing to use that voice. Be willing to free yourself up to experience more of all the abundance that's here for the taking, here for the claiming. Be the bright light in the world that Source wants you to be, because no one else can do it. No one else can do it but you. Be brave, be bold. Don't cower, don't hide, don't shrink. Don't be stuck in that invisibility wound that most women have. You don't have to do that. You don't have to drag that into the new earth. Please don't. All right. I think that's sufficient. I hope you all had a chance to have some fun with this energy. Yeah, that's to be expected. Your body's releasing. And just notice how you feel, and notice how your water tastes. Silky. Notice how much more positive your thoughts and your feelings are after this. You want to be on the bright side because you've increased your voltage here. So be willing to stay there. Be willing to stay on the bright side. Here's the thing. It's not Pollyanna to think positive thoughts. And if you really read the story of Pollyanna, you understand Pollyanna was about looking at situations and seeing what's the upshot here. What's the gift in the garbage? There's nothing about that is spiritual bypassing about any of that, about being willing to look at a difficult moment or a challenge or an issue and say, here's where this gets to help me. Here's the gift in the garbage. Here's the lesson I get to uncover. Here's where I get to know myself better so I can love myself more. That's not Pollyanna. That's fucking life. That's living life to the fullest. That's being able to take powerful, painful shifts and say, you know what, but I know if something painful, challenging is happening, there's always something good on the other side of that. That's not Pollyanna at all. That's just truth. And so if you're willing to be in that space, let your thoughts go more to the positive, because that's the creative state. That is where solutions come to you. That's where you're connecting with the 4D flow state of the intuitive higher mind. And where it's speaking to you directly through the pain, through the message of the lesson. Okay?